So, hi and welcome. This is video number one of hopefully many. Um, yeah, my name's Chris. I like cryptocurrency and I like to talk crypto. So, over the next, again, I'm just here to document essentially my crypto journey. That could be in, again, a whole bunch of varying sort of things from Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, all the way through to this lower cap sort of altcoins. We're going to talk about what's going on in the industry generally, you know, I wouldn't say day to day, but on a weekly basis, we're going to be sort of observing the industry, seeing where the prices are at, see what's going where, altcoins, see how the money's flowing, see the state of the market. Generally, have a chit chat about any of the technical side. Over the last 2 years, I've been an avid miner, and yeah, I'm enjoying the space, just like you guys, I'm assuming. So, if you enjoy the content, remember to hit the subscribe button. Much appreciated if you do. This content will evolve over time, and hopefully I'll become a better speaker, as you can probably tell, not my forte. But let's get into it. So, yeah, I was having a look through quite a lot of sort of news articles just on, we've obviously seen this massive dip around a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, just in general, terms of Bitcoin. We've seen a lot of money leave the market. It went from around, I think it was edging on about 2.4 trillion to best part of 2.6 trillion before it started capping all the way down to the best part of, I think it went sub 1 trillion pound at one point actually. I think in terms of GDP, not GDP, Great British pound, sorry, I swear it went down to as low as, I think it was 9, oh god, it couldn't have been that low surely. I swear it was like 980 something billion in total, which is, I mean, to be fair, I thought we're pretty much at the limit of where we're going there. Um, I'm quite staggered at the comeback that the entire altcoin scene and generally the crypto market. I mean, the fact we're at 1.5 trillion again shows the signs that things are, I'd say, somewhat recovering. I don't think we're necessarily in bull trap territory. This is very different to 2017 crash. I feel when we basically had I'd say like a 3 to 4 week grace period. Um, this feels different for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why, but yeah, if anyone has any thoughts on that, leave a comment below and I'll try to have a read because yeah, it's interesting to see how this sort of cycle's panned out. It very much seems like we're potentially in a second run here. They'll likely end, I'd say late fall of this year. So realistically, I think by December time it's going to be time to take profit on this run. Um, yeah, so let's have a look at the charts and see where things are going. So we've got Bitcoin. Again, it's fairly stagnant. And there is a news article actually about the support levels that have sort of been that Bitcoin's sort of been seeing. Overall, it's been relatively flat. It seems to have support around the 46,000 sort of mark. It tends to be bouncing all over the 100-day moving average, which is quite good as long as it stays on top of that. There's not necessarily anything to panic about, as you could see. Even in this sort of territory, it did dip a bit beneath, but then it recovered, and again we're now dabbling back in. On the RSI charts, it does look as if it's on the lower end of the scale, probably at the 30-40% underbought territory. So we're just under about half, I'd say, the halfway point. So we're still on the low side of where we're currently at, price-wise, which is interesting to say the least. And as this article goes on to talk about, there seems to be a price ceiling of around, somewhere between the 40, what was it, the 46 and 51. Oh, sorry, and 50,000. Yeah, there seems to be really high resistance, which is no surprise, to be honest with you. That's a fairly substantial level to try and break through. And if you just have a look at the sort of Binance order flow, sort of not charts, but the when you can see the order books, there is quite a substantial amount of Bitcoin being sold at the 50,000 dollar mark, which is interesting to see. Hopefully it'll break through that and we'll continue, but I've got a funny feeling that a lot of the money is now moving into alt, the altcoin sort of department. As you can see here, as Bitcoin's sort of consolidating, even though we sort of already seen, you know, an initial altcoin boom at the start of the year, it very much looks as if we're going into potentially a second, and just based off what I'm about to show you in the next few tabs, I think this article is bang on. I've been trading quite a lot in the altcoin side of the market recently. I've not really been paying too much attention to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Still have my holdings, obviously. That's kind of my, I'd say, the safer bet, but overall I've been sort of trying to spread some of my holdings into particularly Cardano, Atom, the Cosmos sort of ecosystem. There's a lot of really solid projects inside the Cosmos ecosystem, which I'm going to go on to talk about because it's an absolute gem. It is an absolute gem in there, which I think the whole crypto market is completely missing out on at the moment, purely based on the fact that Cosmos doesn't strike people as that an interesting asset purely because of the inflationary side of it. If there's one thing you do, research this thing, research this thing. But yeah, we'll go on to talk about that in a minute. So yeah, if I just jump back to particularly, there is something else I want to talk about. This is an interesting Tether article, which is concerning at the same time. But yeah, as we go down the charts, we're starting to see some sort of pullback, just in terms of, you know, the 7-day sort of charts. Some quite substantial ones actually, 12%. Well, it's not substantial, but you know, I mean, it's definitely getting into the higher side of the negative marks. And as I was talking about the Atom ecosystem, this a week ago was ranked 37, I think. So in a week we've moved 11 spots up. And what's interesting just about the Cosmos sort of ecosystem is obviously the decentralized exchanges that it has within it. And this is why I think, one, if you haven't looked into this stuff, really, really have a look into it, because let me just show you, you know, Atom's trajectory at the moment. For the last, we are talking 20th of July. So for the last, we'll call it a month and a week, we have just been going, I wouldn't say parabolic, but at the same time, it's very close. It's a very nice chart. So we've seen lows. The worst low of about £5.74 just after the huge dip in the market a few months back, but we've definitely gained support around the £6 mark, which is good to see, and specifically around the £8 mark. There's definitely a lot of support at that level. But in terms of just straight out performance, this really does look as if it's potentially going for a new all-time high. It's probably still a few weeks, if not a month, away from doing so, but when you have a look at what I'm about to show you within the actual Cosmos DeFi scene, the rate at which these coins are sort of accelerating is beyond anything that I've seen in quite a while, to be completely honest with you. So I'm going to jump to the Gravity Dex inside Cosmos. If you haven't heard of this, it's called Amorous. Amorous is basically a decentralized exchange, super simple to use. Straight up just connect your Kepler wallet to the exchange and you could essentially trade and swap pretty much any of these between any of these, and also move them across chains and all sorts of fun stuff. But just to put it in perspective, Osmo at the moment, you are currently getting, if I jump into the Osmo, yeah, there we go. If you stake your Osmo, at the moment you're getting a reward of 207% per year, which roughly equates to the minute about 0.53% per day in tokens. At the moment, these Osmo tokens are worth $3.75. The crazy thing about this though is just having 818 Osmo, I'm getting roughly about 4.35 Osmo a day, which translates to the best part of, let's say, 15, not quite, but you know what I mean, like 12 to $13 a day, give or take. But the interesting thing is when you start compounding this, so if you're getting this daily and you're compounding, it adds up fast. So to put this in perspective, I think it was about £175 into this, and I was also given 100 Osmo. At the time, I think it was worth like $1. I think it was around $1.15. The interesting thing about when I was given that was only about a month or two ago, and in that month we've essentially seen this close to 4x, just in price. But again, the more interesting side of this still comes down to if I jump into the Kepler staking side of things and jump over into Osmosis. In fact, nope, where am I going? Sorry, completely lost at the moment. Yes, sorry. Trying to find Cosmos's DeFi station, which will show us the prices of these, but I cannot work out how to get to it. Cosmos.network. I know it's down the bottom of this web page somewhere. Tools. Oh, I'm having a hard time here. Come on, Cosmos, give me a bit of... That's not what I'm looking for at all. Features, IBC protocols, tokens, explore, gravity dex, blog, wallets, ecosystem. Where is this? Gravity dex. Is it down the bottom of this? No, it was not. I can't remember where it was. I was kind of hoping Osmosis would link me to essentially not the exchange, but the charts. Sorry about this, guys. We will get, and girls, we will get to this soon, I promise. If not, I'm just going to have to completely ditch it. Nope, I'm going to have to ditch it. That's unfortunate. What is even going on there? But let's leave that. Yeah, it's a shame. Hey, I'll give you an update in the next video I do, if you fancy having a look at that. But I was going to try and pull up the charts related to Osmosis. I can do that on CoinGecko though, so we'll use this for now. They're not going to be the greatest of charts, but hopefully we'll still get something which will let us... There we have it. It's not going to be a detailed one because TradingView obviously doesn't work, but it is what it is. So if we jump back to the 90-day average, you can see that this is when the project was launched. So this was only launched in June this year. It initially took quite a hurdle downwards. In fact, we see a low of around 99 pence. I think it might have dipped a bit lower than that, of 91 pence. But looking at this since June, and you've got to factor in this was roughly about when the entire market crashed. So there was obviously going to just be a lot of fear in the market. You could see that it's essentially just been on an, I would say, a pretty decent, or in fact no, it's a substantial recovery. I mean, the fact we're down at £1, and we're now potentially going to be topping £3 very soon. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised. I've seen this at $3.99 today, which again, I think that was the peak just around here at 274. So I would not be surprised. I'd say in the next 2 to 3 weeks, if we're going to see at least a £3 per Osmosis coin, and if we get to that, realistically, I think we're going to be seeing all-time highs. We're already sort of breaking the there seems to be quite a bit of resistance again around the 260, 250, 270 sort of mark. You can see we've got a whole bunch of it over here, we've got a whole bunch of it over here, and we're starting to sort of see caps on the top of these charts. I still think with the amount of money that's flowing in, however, that is likely to change. And when I say the amount of money that's moving in, if we just jump back to Amorous quickly and sort of have a look at the Osmo chart, so you can see the market caps. I mean, Atom alone is absolutely minuscule. Like if you have a look in comparison to, again, just some of, let's say, the top 10. So we've got Polkadot at 22 billion. We've got Solana here at 24, Dogecoin 26, XRP at 40 billion. The fact that, again, a top 20, sorry, a top 30 coin is sitting below 5 billion in market cap, suggests this could easily, I mean, we're talking, considering the amount of functionality it currently has, we're talking close to potentially a 20 to 40x in the next sort of 5 years. Realistically, I mean, we could quite easily see this at about the 100. I'd like to say the £100 mark. I've got a funny feeling by 2025 we're probably only going to see about the 80 to £90 price point on Atom, but you've got to remember all of the ecosystems that are inside it. The more money that's flowing about these, the more money that's staked, the more rewards that are gained, the more staked rewards are getting passed up back to Atom, which is then increasing. Apologies for that. Should have muted myself. Well, we're going to see a lot of money sort of flowing back up towards the Atom, like the native currency of this network, and sort of transition into quite a multifaceted amount of coins. Like there's going to be quite a lot of projects kicking off here, and this definitely is like the start of it. Yeah, there was one last piece of news that I kind of just wanted to touch on, which I thought was quite interesting and also potentially quite scary here. So if you're unfamiliar with the whole Tether, I would say it's sort of a scandal at this point, because they're still being very dodgy about how they're dealing with their accounts, you know, just generally within the business. Well, Coinbase and who was the other one? Sorry, Coinbase and CoinDesk. CoinDesk filed a Freedom of Information request to essentially Tether's offshore company, and together, Tether the company and Bitfinex the exchange have tried to state that let's put it this way, that it would hurt the business if the attached petition that was signed by CoinDesk and also the Freedom of Information requests were pushed through. They were blaming, again, competition being fierce in the markets, with smaller sort of startup exchanges trying to compete in a really crowded market, and therefore they just seen it as sort of anti-competition type things to try and reduce them to nothing. Problem with that is obviously, if you've been following the Tether sort of scandal, if they're backed, they're backed, and to be completely honest with you, the fact they're now going down the legal route of trying to hide this is not looking good, in my opinion. Even if it was like the way they sort of like move towards the asset based backing, even if it was asset based and it was backed by assets on the dollar, that's acceptable in my mind. Is completely acceptable. Obviously, isn't what they promised, where every dollar of crypto would be matched to every dollar in real world currency, but in effect, it is the same thing. So on that front, it sort of terrifies me a bit. But yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see. As I say, the Tether thing's not going away. So far, it's still one of, to be honest, the most relied upon stable coin currency, and there might be some merit to the fact that, again, CoinDesk, which if you have a look at the sort of people behind it, I guarantee you Coinbase has some sort of influence in that, which obviously has their centralized stablecoin USDC on the Ethereum chain, I believe. So it's a difficult one. I'm starting to lose my faith in Tether, unfortunately. But it's going to take a lot more than me to to say anything about that. So hopefully it is backed. They do pass all the scrutiny that ends up coming their way, but it's going to be harder and harder, I think, as the industry gets larger, because there's the general assumption that it is backed, but the more money that goes into this, I mean, it really does get to a point where it's incredibly difficult to match one to one. But yeah, we'll see where we go. Leave your opinions just on this article below. I'll leave the link in the description if anyone fancies having a read. I've very briefly brushed over this, but generally it's just, about the compliance and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, leave a thumbs up. I'm going to cut this short at about the 25-minute mark, and I will catch you next week.